about happiness in life. Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. Levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the same.
If you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें से बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores, they see your habits, they see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second thing,
what are the changes that's happened? Things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life, because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing, there are lots of things that can be done as well from home and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much for work, because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1-hour meeting to Chennai, or for some training session to attend in Dubai. And that's definitely
the way I look at analyzing work, or an analogy to work, is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical.
The message here is, we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge that
The Time Tracker app is designed to know where and how can your activities be revised and your time can be used effectively. In the Time Tracker template, you're supposed to input your activities and the amount of time you have spent on them. Statistical data will be provided on the basis of that, which will help your mentors to take further action. The benefits for working professional are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, identifying what creates positive energy which can be unleashed for you to maintain your work-life balance. The benefits for university students program are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you identify and work on positive energy creators in your schedule, events, and people as well. Identifying areas for productivity, success, and happiness. The benefits for school students are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, helping you drive the areas of right association, acts, and creating right energy for your preparation, as well as eliminate areas where you can save time and be more productive in your work schedule.
24 by 7 chatbot access program is designed to help you sort some emergency access and avails you the 24 by 7 support system with qualified counselors.
The chat box is open to our learners at all times. You can clear your doubts and queries by simply dropping a question here, and we will try our best to answer them as soon as possible and to the best of our ability.
Benefits of the 24 by 7 chatbot access for working professionals are: it makes your life easier, it makes you stress-free, it helps you to avail expert advice which will help you in life to go further. Benefits of 24 by 7 chatbot access program for university students are: it helps you minimize the exam stress, it helps in finding out the life goals. Benefits of the 24 by 7 chatbot access program for school students are: it helps to reduce stress during exams, and it helps to access counseling sessions and different webinars at Mentor Mitr.
Environment Questionnaire, a set of questions designed with the aim to know the basis of an individual and works as a base for further action.
This is the questionnaire section. Here, you will be required to provide a few basic information about yourself, such as your current educational status, your future goals, etc. This is just to draw a precursory sketch before you begin your journey with us and our mentors.
The benefits of the environment questionnaire for working executives is knowing your version and work towards making it better. Gap analysis is done to find right solutions, understanding and identifying your needs from the base and working towards it, as well as knowing and identifying your goals and what needs to be done next. The benefits of the environment questionnaire for university students is knowing their version and making it better, bringing you from the zone of concern to the zone of comfort, assist you advocately using your environment and support system, as well as recognizing the needs from the very beginning and working on the same. The benefits of environment questionnaire for school students is knowing their version and making it better with an external expert view, help them leverage their environment and support system to drive them correctly, help them bridge a gap. All the constituents of our program, we also cater to the mental health of an individual, which ultimately helps an individual in case of working executives to affirm their right goals, identify their negative emotions, and create positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve the quality of life. A buddy and mentor who becomes part of your growth journey. In case of university students, it helps them deal with relationships better and put the right perspective, identifies one's negative emotions and worries and creates positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. For school students, it helps them deal with relationship issues better and put the right perspective to what's needed. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. A buddy, mentor who becomes a part of their growth journey and understands them when and how it's needed. So along with all our other constituents, mental health is also considered essential and the issues are catered to.
This is the clip from a live session that we have every Friday on Instagram. Various IGTV videos from our live sessions are available where our experts from various fields have shared their insights with us. Do check out our IGTV on Instagram for wonderful and insightful discussions on various topics ranging from relationship to mental health to leadership and career building.
While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management can be hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front in college or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At Mentor Mitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
Your thoughts on anxiety being seen in so many people regarding the uncertainty of future, given how things are these days?
So mainly, I think I'll start with the first lockdown that happened. And when it happened, I think it was somewhere a lot of us were surprised, shocked, but at the same time, we were navigating it with a lot of fun, like learning कि अच्छा अब office नहीं जाना पड़ेगा because pajamas में we can take our meetings and हम coffee बनाएंगे and we'll do all these crazy things and we'll binge watch Money
Break
Heist.
from our daily hectic day.
Yeah. And I think everybody just became like a unit, Everybody started posting their Ludo success and everything. So it was a fun time because people were just, full of hope at that time. It was something new. And they were thinking, it'll last for a little while, then it will go away. But what happened with the second wave was that none of us saw it coming. Right? We were succeeding in terms of, things were getting better. And we all got cocky with that success that we were making. And overnight, that shift was there. And second wave in itself, like it goes unsaid, it was so difficult for so many people and our country itself. I think even if we were somewhere prepared for it, knowing that it could happen again, we never saw the intensity of it coming. Second wave, right? So uske baad, I think लोगों को ज़्यादा frustrated feel हुआ. Imagine having no control over your own life. Right? That was what we were dealing with from the last 1.5 years till today. So not having that control was very difficult, very intense. It was very hard to absorb for a lot of people. And that led to feeling, like this. And I remember I was talking to somebody last week only. And we were talking about uncertainty. And I asked him, like, how do you feel? And he said this one thing that really was relatable. And he said, कि अब तो कुछ अच्छा plan करने में भी डर लगता है. Because I don't know if it will come true or not. Right? I don't want to plan anything positive because if there is like a slight chance कि वो ठीक नहीं होगा या फिर वो पूरा नहीं होगा, then I don't want to go through that again, right? So I said, yeah, I think that's completely relatable, because a lot of people are not planning things because of the fear of the uncertainty, because it is always lurking around, and that is leading to, you know, other issues.
To be empathetic in a professional environment while maintaining one's own boundaries?
Yeah, this is very, very crucial, and it's very difficult to kind of abide by or practice, right? So all the words that is going to come out of my me today is going to look all wow, but when you put it to practice, it's going to be taking a toll on you. So don't worry, I'll try to make it as simplified as possible. So two things. First of all, when we look at empathy, what is empathy? You're just going to put yourself in the other person's shoes, try to understand their emotions, truly put yourself in their position and see what it is like to be in that position. And when you do that, naturally, there are certain things that you would understand about their perspective, or whether certain solutions would be coming to your mind and things like that. So when you generally are an empathetic person, as nature or your personality, you have it in you, you tend to cross your own boundaries. And at times it is difficult for you to, make sure that you're not doing things at your own cost. कि आप help करते जा रहे हो and you don't know where to put a line or draw a line when you're in a professional setting, especially. So these are two things that you can keep in mind. First of all, is really identify what your needs are. On a regular basis, try to do that. So the certain questions that possibly you ask yourself is, what is it that, rejuvenates you? What is it that, you need to feel your best, right? At your workspace or at your own home as well. So empathy anywhere, at your workspace or at your home also. These things are, these questions are something that you can keep in mind, and you can keep asking them to yourself. The other thing is, when do you feel your best? Around whom do you feel your best, right? And when do you feel your worst? Around whom or what circumstances you feel discomforted? So having a check on these things, and these needs can keep changing. As and when you are in your life, you're taking your journey, things keep changing. So you need to be aware of these. And when you get the answers to these questions, that's when you have rich content to work on in terms of your boundaries. So you know who is not giving you comfort. You know who is giving you comfort. You know what is making you feel your best. So continuing that, and something that is not, try to restrict those kind of behaviors, or try to restrict your energy that is going towards those things or people or situations.
What does actually 5 a.m. concept mean? And could you please explain this to us in detail?
This concept was popularized or given to us by Robin Sharma. And what the concept is that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you give yourself 1 hour. You divide that 1 hour into 3 segments of 20 minutes each. 20 minutes of exercising, 20 minutes of planning, and 20 minutes of doing some productive work. And it is important to remember that in that 1 hour, we do the work for self-development. We don't do any professional work. We don't check our emails. We don't use social media. We practice only well-being practices that are useful for our wellness and development. That is the main idea of the 5 a.m. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It was in. So, ma'am, is it practically possible to follow 5 a.m. routine daily?
So earlier, even I used to feel that it's impossible to wake up at 5 a.m. Like, who even does that? But I spoke to a lot of people. I joined a community, and it is possible to wake up at 5 a.m. Of course, in the beginning, it can be very difficult, very tiring, very strenuous. But with practice, it can be, you can ease into it. And it is possible. It is practical enough.
So, ma'am, could you please point out some advantages of 5 a.m. routine?
So the very first advantage of the 5 a.m. routine is that you get some extra time just to yourself. You know, when you wake up at 5 a.m., most of the people are asleep. So you have that quiet time to yourself. And at that time, you can work on the things which may be a little difficult for you, or the work where you need a lot of concentration, but you get distracted a lot. You start talking to someone, or there's a lot of noise around, or you have to attend to someone. So, you're unable to do that work. And that kind of work can be easily done with the 5 a.m. routine, because that 1 hour is just for you. I also read a story of an author who used to find it very difficult to write. But when they started with the 5 a.m. routine, they had that time to themselves where they did not get distracted by anything else and they felt so focused. So, this is one of the benefits.
A very good evening to one and all present. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing others. On such a good note, let's start today's webinar. The webinar's topic is Leadership Principle for Success, October 24th, Sunday, 7 p.m. according to Indian Standard Time. This is a free webinar and you will be provided a e-certificate at the end. The steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. A. Attend the complete webinar. B. When you see thank you on the screen, a link will be there. Please mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. C. Fill the questionnaire you get on mail for your details. D. Follow our page. Whether you did or not is also there in the questionnaire. If you did not do it and replied an affirmative, you might not actually get the certificate. Download our app from Play Store. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you within 24 to 48 hours. Mentor Mitr is a mentoring organization where they guide individuals in their journey of life from where they are to where they aspire to be. Mr. Uday Nadiwati. Mr. Uday Sir is currently an entrepreneur who is the founder of a successful startup called BFatch, which has patents and deals in products making people's life better. Mr. Uday has won the prestigious CII Award for Product Innovation as well as the Coca-Cola Sustainable Enterprise Award. Uday is an engineer, an MBA, and has spent about 20 plus years in the corporate sector, working for organizations like GE, Delphi, and Tata Motors, amongst many others. We welcome you there, sir. Please enlighten us.
Yeah, very good evening to everybody on Mentor Mitr. This is Uday here, and we'll be happy to share my thoughts with all of you. Yeah, you're able to hear me clear, loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is the visuals also good? Is the visuals also good?
Yes, sir.
Video. Okay, fantastic. So today I primarily want to cover certain principles on leadership, especially for the next gen. So, and the coming 10, 20 years. So there will be some changes in how the things will be moving in the next couple of years in the future. And I'll spend some time on what really it takes to be a leader in the coming times. So we can go ahead. Yeah, and here are a couple of things. First thing, between leadership is leadership is all about having a vision for yourself. Leadership is about vision. So when you say you are a leader or you want to be a leader, the first thing that really comes is the vision part of it. Where do you want to drive yourself? Where do you want to drive your organization if you are into your own self-employment or business, or if you are working in any company, what is the company's vision? And you should know that vision clearly so that it will really help you in your career growth. So leadership has been always about vision, and it will continue to be about vision. But there are certain paradigm shifts that are happening, which I'll cover in the subsequent slides. Yeah, very important thing when it comes about leadership, as I shared with you, it's first is you set up a blueprint of where you want to go or where you want to take the company, right? So after you have set the vision in place, the second thing is we have to set this with we being our own example, right? So we, it's not about telling people do this or do that. We actually have to make our hands dirty and actually show them how to do it. Whenever we are doing something new, it's not going to be easy. So we have to make our hands dirty and actually guide and lead people, rather than just tell people how to do. And very important thing before we can you go to the previous slide? Yeah. So second thing is also about, do your followers look up to you? Okay, so if you are leading, one primary criteria is, are you having followers who are looking up to you? And if they are looking up to you, it means that you are capable of leading. So it requires a good amount of knowledge, it requires a good amount of action to do that, right? Are you also living by values? Are you living by values like hard work is a value, smartness is a value, ethics are values? So we'll cover some of these values at a later point, but whatever you decide are your values in your organization, you should ensure that you actually live by that values. One very important thing, when you want to lead by example, leaders have to learn constantly. There is nothing like, you know, you have finished a education. That might be purely from a graduation point of view, but that might be you completed a degree, but you'll never complete your education. So education is an ongoing thing. I keep learning at this age too, and I love that. And I think that should be the thing that every leader should do. He should also lead in terms of integrity and ethics. We'll cover a little bit with some more examples at a later point. And also leadership is also becoming good at particular area in from a domain point of view. It's not only about leading people, it's also being a leader in particular space. Like we know Apple is a good example of leading in a technology space, right? In terms of if you take in terms of petroleum in India, Reliance is a leader. So they are domain leaders. To be a domain leader, you got to be very good in the area of your in your field of area. So leadership is also about being a good domain expert. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, when coming to leadership, it's also important that we develop diversity. You know, diversity, and we do collaboration. I just take certain few points. We should value diversity. Diversity is, it's, if we have an organization which is having same age people or same sex people, that is all males or all females, or if we have people with you know, with a particular geography, I don't think so. That really adds, you know, fun into the whole organization. We should always have diversity in our organization. It brings fun. It brings freedom of work. Yeah, you know. So if you see the picture on the right side, it's my own organization, and there's a little bit of diversity which you can see. There are people aged 50 to probably 20, 25. There are men and women both. There are people with basic graduation degrees. There are people with post-graduation degrees. There are people from different geographies from India too. So how this really helps in building organization, this diversity brings creativeness, it brings fun, and it also brings different perspectives of building an organization. One very important thing is, when you're building diverse teams, you should know what are the team strengths, what are the strengths of every individual, and what are the weaknesses. Put the right person in the right place so that they can really build their careers. So and also understand what are how relationships are developed with people. So there are certain books on how to build relationships and personalities. So do have an understanding about people and personalities to help build diverse teams. We can go a little ahead. Now with things that are changing, we know that technology is becoming a big part of our life. When it comes to leadership, it's very important that we harness the new upcoming technologies that are there. From this is useful whether you are working in a company or whether you are running a company. Either of these two places, technology has become a part of our life, and it's very important that we understand what are the new technologies that are coming in the marketplace. We should have an idea about these things, so we know different technologies. Whether e-commerce requires a particular technology, telecom requires a different technology, video technology is a different technology. So there are so many different technologies which are coming. So we should be aware about what are these technologies, and with these technologies, the marketplace is also changing. So we can't be very still with the previous learnings that we had. We need to constantly update because the market is changing. Things are everything is getting changed very fast. New products are coming to market. So leadership also means that we should understand these technologies. We can't keep away from technology. We should, as a leader, need to have a very crystal ball vision. A crystal ball vision is like seeing through a crystal ball and trying to imagine what could happen in the next 4 years or 5 years. That is leadership crystal ball vision, I would define. So I know there are so many technologies. It's very difficult to gauge what will happen in the next 5 years. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg might not also be able to tell that. But what is leadership? Leadership is all about trying to gauge what could happen in the next 5 years. It is the crystal ball vision, which I would say you've got to gaze into it. You probably have to keep your eye a little closed and try to imagine what could happen in the next 4-5 years, given the current technologies which are there. It's also important. It's not very important nowadays to know all the answers. When I was in school, probably most of you, even today, when you are in schools, you were given grades on how much you know about particular thing. You are asked to write answers to questions. So you are graded on how much you know. But everyone today knows that Google has all the answers. So leadership is not about knowing all the answers, but it is knowing what to ask Google. Google is an encyclopedia. So if we know what question if we ask Google, it will give us the answers. So it is very important to know the right questions that will lead the organization and yourself to a brighter future. So it's more important to ask the right questions rather than knowing the right answer. The world of knowing the right answers have gone. Google has everything. So don't try to memorize things and know everything. Everything is in Google. Just try to know what should we ask to Google to lead yourself to a brighter future. And very importantly, do embrace change. I think anyone who says, I don't like technology, will not be able to survive. So we do embrace change, do embrace technology. It is the way in future. Analyze data, use data. Don't say that I don't like data. I don't think so. The world has so much of data today. For us to go in future, we need to really analyze data. Very importantly, try to collaborate and co-create with others. Don't have to be an individual sole runner with your team. I think the world with so much of networking, we as a company, small company in Hyderabad, we get our things done from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, from Romania, from Venezuela. We are based in Hyderabad, but we are co-creating and co-collaborating. We are collaborating with Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. So we don't have to be all by ourselves experts in this new world. We can do it with others. We can co-collaborate and co-create our products and services. So don't have to be a solo company. Don't have to be a solo runner. Network with people. And one last point in this technology part is try to be in sync with the ESG, which is like, the environment friendly companies or environment friendly, social friendly, and governance friendly. So try to have yourself an understanding of how can your product or service help the environment, help the society, and help in good governance. So that is what everyone is looking for in the future. So that was one very important point from a career perspective, if you're working in any companies or you're setting up a company. If we can go a little ahead. Yeah, in terms of leadership position is a very vulnerable position. I don't think so that you can always say that, whatever I do is right. It's a very vulnerable position. We do make mistakes. I do make mistakes. It's a very changing world. It's very difficult to actually say that everything that I am going to do is going to be right. Extremely difficult to be in a world where we say that everything I'm going to do is going to be right. So we are vulnerable with this so much of changing technologies happening. Make a best guess and move fast, because the technology is moving so fast. There's so many companies moving fast. Carriers are getting updated. So just keep moving fast. You'll make some mistakes. You may pay fees to some technology tutorials, but that technology might not be useful for you for more than 6 months. But keep moving fast. Take some risk and accept mistakes if they happen. So be it. I think leadership is all about making mistakes. It's not that leaders in the previous past never did mistakes. I don't think Gandhiji accepted some mistakes that he did. So there is nothing like saying that, a leader never makes mistakes. It just makes mistakes and he learns from there. And don't be complacent. I think the world has changed totally nowadays. We can't be complacent on particular thing that we have achieved and now we don't have to do anything. No, the world is constantly moving. So you keep moving with that, keep changing, keep transforming your company, keep transforming yourself for a better career. If you can go a little ahead. Yeah, one thing typically nowadays that happens with people and leaders is when we keep changing things, when we have a vision, when we are putting teams together, what naturally happens is the leaders do get a focus. Nothing wrong about getting a focus, but the leader's focus should be to try to bring change in the organization. The change in the organization or trying to create the reality out of that particular vision. Okay, that is, he should focus on that. During the process, there will be media who will say that these people are trying to build a new India. They are going to say that these people are trying to build a new product that's going to change the world. They are going to tell that this particular person is going to change the way he's leading the organization. So a lot of people start looking at them So don't get defocused and try to get into the fame part of it. Fame will come. I think you should not get focused on fame. Just focus on trying to work on the cause that you are really working on. And social media is a very big distractor for creating fame. We don't think so. We should get digressed by social media fame, which we get, how many likes and followers we are having. That just focus on the change, the cause, and the vision, and all the other things that come. Just let it come. Don't really bother about the fame that you get. So that may come on its way, and that's fine to have, but don't focus on that. One very important thing is, in terms of leadership, is not about just doing yourself. It's not about you, and it's not about your company. It's all about how you also develop others in the process. So as you learn and as you develop your company, as you develop your career, if you're working in any company, it's also important that as you learn certain things, please also share it with others, so that then you feel also happy. It likes little dichotomy that if you know something, if you share something, that guy will come to up to your level, and he will have the same intellectual level like yours. You have that fear in the beginning, but I think you share it and you will see the love of it. When they also start speaking your language, when they have your intellectual, you feel good, you feel great that you have been able to contribute to that other individual. So do that, and I think we will see a better future for ourselves, and we also feel good, happy internally that we have been able to contribute to somebody else too. Yeah, just a quick thing, a lot of people get confused with leadership and probably not and something else. I just want to say that leadership is not about a title. Okay, it's not that if you are a managing director, then only you are a leader. Okay, no, leadership could be even the bottommost person in the organization. Leadership is if he is having a vision for himself from growing from an executive to a senior executive. That's also a vision. If he wants to see himself growing in a 15-year, 20-year period, he wants to start his own company. That's also a vision. So vision and leadership is nothing to do with titles. It is about, sometimes you would have seen in companies that the CEO is there, but there are people who don't really like or follow the CEO, but they might like somebody junior to him. Maybe he's a general manager of a company, but people see that this general manager is talking sense. He's able to take the team together. So that general manager is probably a better leader than the CEO. So never ever get confused with leadership and title. And what really happens in the long term is that general manager eventually will be able to progress better in his career. So that leadership always gets a bigger hand, a better leap as compared to a typical manager. Leadership is also not about age. It's not about years of experience. A person, Vivekananda was hardly in his 20s and 30s when he was called a leader, because he could lead a religion conference in Chicago, right? So it's all about your vision. It's not about the age. A person with 80 with not having a vision to what he's going to do in the future, how he's going to lead a team, is not a leader. He could be aged 80 years or 70 years, but leadership means vision. Leadership means ability to take people along with you to that particular vision. It's also not about you. It's about how are you able to build your team? Are they able to grow up? Are they able to learn more? Are they able to contribute more? Are they able to actually grow up along with you in terms of building their own teams? It's very importantly, it's all about listening. Okay, it's not about talking. Actually, I wanted this seminar to be a listening kind of a seminar, but for some technology reasons, it could not be a two-way session. But I would really like to take questions and give examples and take examples and then say this is leadership and this is not. But for some technology reasons, it's right now a one-way method. I would really appreciate if you can just put questions at the end of this session, and we will try to do on the chat address some of these questions. It's also not doing it all by yourself. It's all about you taking it together. Okay, 1 + 1 is not 2, 1 + 1 is 11. We know that, and we need to build on that particular concept that don't do everything by yourself. Take the teams with you. It's also not necessary that you should know all the answers. I think I kind of briefed that on the previous point a little more. It's also do not get into demeaning others. We've seen this happening in organizations. Never ever demean others. People have different intellectuals, so don't get into demeaning others. Try to be respectful of their character, respectful of that individual, and try to help them. Okay, and if they require, typically what they require is a training intervention. Train them to develop. In case if they don't train, I think they need to then move on and find a place where they can really do better. And it's also, leadership is not about taking credit, it's about giving credit. If someone does good in the team, I think the team should get the credit. If someone does good, not good, I think the leader should take the blame. He should say, I think we messed it up. Okay, I messed it up is a better reason, better way to tell it than telling the team messed it up. So leader should take the credit. Leader should take the blame, saying that if something has gone wrong, it's my mistake. If the team has done good, let's say team has done good. Yeah, at the end of the call, as we come to the close of this 20-25 minutes that we are having, one of the important thing is it's all around the leader's behaviors. How does he behave in front of others? How does he behave in front with himself when nobody else is seeing him? Okay, so there are many instances when we actually have issues where so no one is seeing, so let me have a cup of ice cream, right? Others I tell that I do diet, but if nobody's in house, can I take an ice cream and eat? And so that's a wrong habit of a good person or a good leader. Leadership begins with oneself. Then it goes to others. Leadership behavior is also in terms of integrity. Are you paying money properly to others? Are you paying the right money? Are you respecting others? Those are all the things that behaviors it comes, and it has to be shown in action. You got to show it. If you respect people, show it that you respect people. And it's also about the ethics. Be ethical. Don't mess up. Don't do the wrong things. I think we know certain rules that we live by. So we need to be ethical to some of these principles that we live. So leadership is all about action. It is all about the behavior that we are having in ourselves. So you can't have two personalities. It is the same personality, whether it's in office, home, or anywhere else. You can't cheat people whether you are at home or office. So you should have the same behavior whether you are alone at home or with the team outside. So your behaviors do more of the talking. And one very important thing is, though you might learn a lot about leadership in seminars as well as in Google and YouTube and all this, but leadership can be learned and can be developed. It is like swimming. It needs to be practiced. You need to know the principles and you need to practice it. It's like swimming. You can't learn swimming by reading a book. You need to jump in the water, make some mistakes. You will drown for a minute or so, and then you'll come to know this is what swimming is. Similarly is leadership. Leadership is also a similar thing. You need to practice some of these things like good ethics, good behaviors, doing the action, having a vision, driving a team. This is the action and the behaviors you should have, and you've got to practice it. It's not going to come in one day. It's going to take some time. You need to inculcate those good actions and good behaviors in yourself, and over a period of time, you will start getting respect from others. You don't have to demand respect. People will start respecting for what behavior you are having and what actions you're doing at every point of time. What are you valuing? They keep observing, others keep observing. And when they start giving you respect, at that point when you feel that, yes, I think I'm able to contribute to their life, that is when you have probably become a leader. You're leading people with good values. You're leading people with actions. You're leading people with good behaviors. Can you go? Yeah. One you might have always seen people talking about is there are leaders who are born leaders. We always say that probably there are people who are like born leaders, right? So we come, if you talk about a leader, we come to know about Nelson Mandela as a leader, Gandhiji as a leader, Hitler was also a leader. So many people, we feel that they are born leaders. They can talk, they can communicate, they can lead. We feel that this guy can, lead our school, he can lead our college, he can lead our company, he can lead our country, right? So there are some born leaders. God has given some of that personalities to them. But trust me, there are many people, I have seen myself, and probably I am an example of that. They are made leaders. They are made leaders through learning. Leadership can be developed. If leaders are born, leadership can be developed. How can it be developed? Like some of the slides that I covered earlier, you can work on learning through different methods, through different means. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Google, you can go to Mentor Myth, and there are mentors, there are coaches, and they will teach you on these 10, 12 different concepts that I shared with you, from team management to how to have a vision, how to have a technology part of it. So all these things are learnable. So leadership itself is learnable and it can be developed. So it's very important that if you're not a born leader, doesn't matter, but you can develop your leadership qualities in you. With this, I think I will close my session, and you can take forward from here.
Thank you so much, Uday sir. That was really insightful. It helped us a lot. We now introduce Mentor Mitra's website. www.mentormitra.com is the website of Mentor Mitra. You can visit here and you can get all the details about the programs which Mentor Mitra has, about the mentors which are there, about their focus areas, about the goal settings, about all the courses they provide with their appropriate schedules, with the appropriate outline. So don't hesitate and visit www.mentormitra.com. Going ahead, I would like to introduce Mentor Mitra's courses in a bit detail. One, Program for Working Professional, which inculcates Compass Pro course for a duration of a month and Habit Forming Pro course for 3 months. Then there is the same for school students, including an additional Ensure Optimizer course for 12 months. And third is Program for University students, which again have the two same programs, that is Compass course and Habit Formation course. Each course, according to their suitable age, is designed in a way which is suitable for all with respect to their ages. Going ahead about the details of such programs. Program for Working Professional includes Compass Pro course with 1 month of engagement, which helps you basically set the right direction, course correct your ongoing journey. There are pretty much amazing features like the time tracker, which is there to help you and make sure that your binge watching time is not sacrificing your goals. B, our support facility, that is 24/7 chatbot. We're right there to respond as soon as possible once you leave a text to us. There are more features like free access to webinars, set up a self-awareness program, there are counseling sessions, and analytical reports are being generated, which are based on proper algorithm with apt results. Going ahead, talking about the other programs for university student inculcates 1 month of engagement. There is counseling session and even psychometric assessment, AI-based assessment test, time tracker, tracks an option template, which is very useful, which basically roots out all the paths you can carry on to achieve success in your life. We have flexible counseling sessions with mentor for total 2 hours time in a month with your and mentor's coordinated time and guidance, which is required for ongoing your right journey. The other program is the program for school student, which again is a Compass course for 1 month of engagement. We have competitive ability and environment mapping, structured customized counseling one-to-one with our experts. We have tracks and option template. We have flexible counseling sessions with mentors, again, free access to webinars, and there is continuous support at any stage, wherever and however required. Going ahead with our webinar, there is Mentor Mitro's app, which you can download on Play Store, or we have even provided the link if you guys wish to take a snapshot. We have scanned to download our app. You can quickly grab your phones and use the QR code, or there's a link provided as well. You can simply go to the App Store as well. Presenting you our app Mentor Mitr. The app is available on Play Store. Second, you can download the app as of now on Android phones. The download is free of cost, but the programs there are paid. App is available globally in countries like India, Philippines, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, and Thailand, and we aim to have a global presence soon. Kindly download our app and get help in your career, how and what and where you need it. If you have any queries with the app, the website, with the Compass courses, please feel free to contact us or drop a mail at contact@mentormitra.com or connect@mentormitra.com. Going ahead, we now introduce the second speaker for the day, Anil Sharma. Anil Sharma is an engineer, an MBA, and has 25 plus years of corporate experience in leadership positions. He strongly believes that life skills, EQ, not just IQ, and knowledge of self-management needs to be learned, which requires right mentorship as well as training. The same should be done in one's life sooner than on job for lasting success and happiness. We welcome you, sir. Please enlighten us.
Hi, good evening, everybody. As introduced, Anil Sharma is my name, and before I start, I would love to thank Mr. Uday Nadibade, who so nicely not only covered leadership, he covered leadership in current perspective in times of and technological and revolution, I may say, or a fast changing world where it is very relevant to all ages, particularly, I would say, particularly youth, because it's very, 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 very relevant to what is happening around us and how we demonstrate leadership in a current situation. I mean, like he mentioned, on people of my age or this age would at a young age look for information, struggle to get information. Today, information is not an issue. You get everything on Google, and intelligent activity is to, or leadership challenge is to find what to find, on Google, like they explained very, very nicely. So thank you then. Thank you very much for a wonderful session. So what Uday did was, take you to current realism of what leadership in current times or in these changing time would be. I would take you to maybe, because he covered some of the things which I thought I would. I'll not duplicate. I'll just, but yes, leadership is a area where there are a few things which will not change with time. So I would rather, I would take you through a few classical things of leadership which are not going to change. Maybe in 100 years ahead also, like they have not changed, at least in my lifetime. So if you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so the key principle, one is keeping, beginning with an end in mind. So a leader will always know what to achieve, what the end goal is, why something which is being done, and they never, ever lose focus from the goal they've set for themselves or for the organization. Or if the goal needs to be navigated, they don't lose sight of where did they start, for example. And even if they deviate, it is very, very, what should I say, deliberate and within that framework. So a leader never gives up on the end result, and they don't get lost in means, and they what happens is that once an organization or a leader sets up a goal for an organization, what happens after that? That you go in the pursuit of that achieving that goal. And when you go in the pursuit of achieving that goal, there is a dailiness or there is a mundaneness of the process which comes on a day-to-day basis. And it is very, 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 very normal for people to get lost in that dailiness or that routineness of why, of what to be done. Why is it being done? To do, why everything every day is spent. A leader never forgets, and he keeps the main thing the main thing. And that main thing is that goal to reach. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Nelson Mandela stayed in a small cell for 27 years. Did I mean, I can just realize, would he have ever forgotten what the purpose is? Because he chose non-violence. It is very easy to get provoked by an autocratic regime. It is very easy to get provoked by all the injustice. It is very easy to get provoked because a lot of things would have happened on a daily basis for those long years. One person kept the vision, and that person was not free. And that inspired a whole race, a whole nation to set their course right to achieve what South Africa achieved as a country in 90s. And that's what I meant, that a leader does not forget what he is after, and he keeps that main thing in the main thing, and then he stays the course and persevere, which means that things will happen. Few things will good things will happen. Few things bad will happen. Few things will be favorable, and a lot of things will not be not be favorable on a day-to-day basis. And in the journey, I'm sure he would have got also affected at times with the what is happening on a daily basis. And they go through the process, they watch it through, and they never ever uh, give up on what is to be done eventually. And as long as they have that kind of clarity, and most good leaders would have that clarity, most good leaders will keep getting that clarity for themselves. If what they set up to begin with was the what it was, and two, whether that needs to be shifted. And if that needs to be shifted, they have humility to change things, even change sometimes on the process. So, like it is said for leaders that the goals are on concrete, the plans are on sand. And what leaders do typically is that they never lose sight of the goal. They keep changing the way the plan is, but they never leave the course. So the distance between a leader and his goal attainment, or an organization and his goal attainment, would be that space in between, which we typically call a plan. And a leader has the perseverance or ability to navigate through that process, even with changes, to reach the ultimate goal. So let's go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And another thing, a quality which leadership inculcates is to stay positive and not get affected by circumstances all the time. Because, circumstances will push you to change, to get bogged down, and it happens with all of us. I mean, think of a goal of reaching one's office destination on a day-to-day basis, and when we see traffic on the road, we get very, very disturbed with the traffic, and then leader inside you goes through that. Sometimes there is somebody putting their window down, shouting at you, shouting at others. And this is one very small example of your destination between your home to your workplace, or the college or the university, or wherever you're just on a day-to-day basis. Having said that, a leader never loses sight on what is to be achieved. One thing. Two, keeping a consistent positive attitude. And I was reading a book by Robert Schuller, and he talked about possibility thinking. What happens is that you will, in pursuit of a worthwhile goal or in pursuit of your progress towards what you eventually want to achieve, a leader, everybody will run out of possibilities sometimes. Sometimes you think, okay, you hit a wall. And possibility thinking is creative imagination and thinking of achieving your dreams and goals irrespective of everything else, which means what happens when you hit a wall? What happens when you come with an obstacle and uh, and you feel that you're stuck? That's when the leadership begins. It's also said leadership is a lonely place, which means not everybody in that situation can think of a possibility which is unimaginable in a common understanding on a common parlance, which also means that beyond reality lies possibility. And leadership, one of the very strong leadership behavior is to have that possibility thinking going on and on in leader's mind, and he never runs out of options. He or she will never run out of one more attempt, one more way, one more reason, or one more opportunity to try maybe the same thing one more time, but slightly different. And that's what possibility thinking is. And that's what leaders do. So, and it's where it does not come naturally to people to think possibilities. It does not come because it is easy to narrate, complain. It's easy to see an obstacle and react to it that we faced. Now, leadership goes beyond that and it can see beyond that obstacle. And that's what possibility thinking is. So I feel that there is a leader inside all of us. And we have to at times believe that, oh, we are leaders in ourselves and we can think where possibility seemed ending, starts new possibility, starts new horizon. And that's what leadership is about. And that leader is inside all of us. And that is beyond negatives, and that is beyond failures, and that is keeping a consistent attitude and thinking, let's try one more time, one more way, one more day, one more moment. So next slide. Casting a vision. A leader would, I think most of the leaders differentiate them from others when they have a vision for themselves, and then they can cast that vision for others. So leader is somebody who can see what you can't see. Okay. If you are a leader, you can see what others can't see. And I very humorously also remember the David and Goliath story. What happened? Goliath was a big giant and everybody will fear him. And when David thought of facing him, everybody said he's too big to hit. And leader in the Goliath is too big to hit. And the David said he's too big to miss. And we all know the end of the story is that Goliath was defeated. And we had a hero in young David. And casting vision and having belief in that vision is what leaders have. Otherwise, it's all in the mind. He could have got overawed by opinions around him, and nothing would have changed. We would not be discussing this hundreds of years back, this story, in a webinar of mental health. It is relevant. It is relevant in any time. It is relevant in uh, any moment, and it is relevant in any circumstance, which means that a leader can see what others can't, and then leaders have an ability to invoke followership. Of course, when they do it, there also comes criticism. And how they get followership is because there are some naysayers who say this cannot be done, but when leader believes and when leader has the right vision and he has conviction of his vision, he's able to transmit that belief and that vision into a lot of people who choose to follow those leaders. So casting a vision, having a vision and casting that vision in others is a very important aspect of leadership. I mean, honestly, I believe that each of us have a responsibility of having a vision for ourselves, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years. Sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes it is difficult to see beyond. I mean, I'm talking to you. I would not say that I don't have bad days. I was discussing yesterday something with a couple of closed ones on how my mind feels stuck at times. And I'm talking about leadership and casting vision today because wow, that's how mind operates. You start telling yourself you have limited opportunity, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, that, and the other moment, next morning, you say to yourself, oh, if you have right intent, if you have right goals, the new ideas will come. And the same person who may be timid, same person who's worried, same person who's little underconfident, who next day feel, oh, a lot can be achieved. And Uday did talk about vulnerability. And I feel that, I mean, leaders are not averse to being vulnerable. And somehow being strong and being brave is considered or celebrated as a trait. I feel each of us has some vulnerabilities. And most of us try to hide that vulnerability because we want to show the positive or the strong side of us. But you know what I've learned? And what I've also talked to a lot of leaders and observed? Being vulnerable also gets you a lot of support and point of people relating to your point of view from that weak side. Because it's very easy and relatable for people to feel vulnerable, which means most of us, most of the times, feel vulnerable. Even leaders are not averse. They try to use the support system, their own conviction, and all the things which they talk already and I talk, to live with their vulnerability, not worry to appear vulnerable, still be able to cast a and keep their composure. Well, another trait of leadership is posture. A leader, when he's faced with the utmost challenge, keeps very upright. He doesn't worry. What if things go wrong? They can be handled. And they don't lose faith in their purpose. They don't lose faith in their teams. They don't lose faith in their self, even at times when they feel bad. Because that will also happen on a daily basis, on a regular basis, even if not on a daily basis. Because you know what? When you start challenging the norm, you don't become popular. And leadership does not go about being popular first and then achieving. It's about getting criticized, feeling vulnerable, facing failure, but not forgetting what are we there for, not forgetting what we want to achieve, not forgetting that we're very close on a day-to-day basis and achieving what we intend to achieve. That's what I believe leadership is. That's what I feel. Anybody who comes to a webinar like this goes back. And it's very, leaders don't have horns. They don't have a tail. They look like people like you and me. And you are the leader. Each of you on this webinar is a leader. Every day. And every day a leader fails. Every day a leader feels vulnerable. Every day a leader feels he has a goal deviation. The degree of all that and how much what you tell yourself determines where they are headed. So I would say there is a leader inside you. Each of us can invoke that leader by failing every day, feeling vulnerable every day, and still saying, oh, there is another way, there is another day. I'm going to put my best and we can deal with it. And believe me, all of us can deal with it. Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. And both me and Uday will be looking forward to questions which we might have from you on the chat. You can still post. We are there for a few minutes.
Thank you so very much for the insight, Anil sir. We would like to go on with the question answers now. The first question is, how do we be a good leader for ourselves first rather than others? So, Uday sir, you may go on.
No, Anil, I think you covered some of that part, right? So, Anil, if you can take that question.
Yeah, I think we just discussed this, that how do we kind of define a leader? So I think last part of my conversation was not knowingly directed towards that, Nisha, that when we decide that we don't lose sight of what leadership means to me. Do I feel like failure and I want to achieve? And if I don't lose sight of what I want to achieve, and if I don't care about if I fail many days, and if I don't care if I get criticized every day, many days, if I don't achieve many of those days, if I am the one who does not forget what am I after, what leadership means to me, the leader inside you is alive. You just have to keep invoking and keep reminding yourself of this.
I just want to add
anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add one just a simple sentence. Leadership begins with you, or it begins with oneself. Leadership is not necessarily trying to lead a team and all that. That comes probably eventually. It starts with you. It starts with an individual. Are we able to lead ourselves? That's the first step towards being a leader. Are we disciplined? Are we ethical? Are we having the integrity? Are we having good habits? Are we taking action on our dreams and visions that we are having? Leadership comes with self. When we are able to lead ourselves, automatically others will want to follow us. We don't have to lead anybody else. When we are good leaders ourselves, when we lead ourselves good, other people will want to follow us. When there are followers, that person becomes a leader.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question is, if an individual doubts his or her ability or skills, will they be able to inculcate leadership qualities?
Can you repeat the question?
If an individual doubts his or her skills, personal skills they mean, will they still be able to develop leadership qualities when they are in doubt of one's own abilities?
When people are in doubt, if they can still develop the leadership skill is the question. So then why don't you take it first?
Yeah, I actually ended up my class, my session with a point. There are some born leaders. You'll see some children in the school, they're very much leading a small team of 10, 20 people in their classroom. But that's not the end of all. Leadership is very much a thing that anyone and everyone can develop. So, once you know that you want to learn, it's not like music or song, singing song. Song is like, it's a God-given talent. Your voice is a God-given talent. You can't change your voice. But leadership is not like that. Leadership is a skill. You can develop a skill. You can become a carpenter. You can become an electrician. Similarly, leadership is also a skill. You just need to understand those 10, 12 principles that I and Anil talked about. Understand those principles and implement those principles in your life, and eventually you'll become a leader. It's a skill. Leadership is a skill. It's not a God-given talent like a voice.
I'll just add that, like Uday mentioned, if you think you are good at something, focus on that strength instead of keep evaluating, because as I speak to more and more leaders, I feel that there is more negative self-talk than a positive self-talk on a day-to-day basis, on an hourly basis, which means that we talk to ourselves more about our inadequacies. Let's start thinking about what is positive, what are we good at, and that helps on that particular aspect. There are even globally acclaimed tests and practices which are strength based and not weakness or development area based, and you would find them, or you could reach Myth for knowing more if you want to make your strengths or leadership a daily action and you're not figuring it out yourself. But I would say that focusing on one strength also is very important, while we focus a lot on our weaknesses already. That's it, Sha. Anything else?
Thank you so much. One more question. What are the books that help us build the leadership qualities and enhancing knowledge too?
Yeah, there are, I think, many self-help books in the market. And there are books like, there is a book called How to Influence Friends. Okay. And then there are books, there's so many books on self-help. And there are books on on time management. There are books on personality development. There are books on, understanding, building good relationships. So there is two books that I definitely know offhand. If you want to know what is your personality and what is others' personality, there is a book by a person by name Florence Littor. I think the name of that book is Personality Plus. And there is another book called Five Love Languages to Help You Develop Relationship with Your Spouse and Your Children. And it is by a person by name Gary Chapman. So there are many self-help books. You should identify based on these 10, 12 different principles of leadership. If you feel that you want to know how to manage team, there is enough content in the internet. If you want to know how to have leadership in say in your own area, if you want to improve your own skills, if you want to in any particular area of domain, you want to do Java, you want to be good at Java, there is umpteen number of books in that. But yes, first thing is you need to know yourself what I want to improve in and why do I want to do that. Once you know the why and the what, I think where is easily available nowadays.
So I'll just add, there is a book called The Power to Be Your Best by Todd Duncan. There is a book by very famous book by Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which talks also about 7 habits which are leadership principles actually. Then there is a book, Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, which uses goals to invoke the leader inside you. One book which I also recommend is Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do by Robert Schuller. So these are some of the books which could help. Maybe one of you can put it in chat. The team, if you can still put it in chat for benefit of everybody. The books which Uday said, Personality Plus by Florence Litter, Five Love Language by Gary Chapman. Is it Uday?
I think so. Yeah.
So 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. I mean, if somebody or any of you is taking note, Power of To Be Your Best by Todd Duncan, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do by Robert Schuller, and Magic of Thinking by David Schwartz. These are some of the books. I mean, of course, there are many other books. You can put this for. I mean, since there are a lot of people, I think if you put it on chat, they can note down if they really want. Thank you.
And I'll just add to that, there is an app in Android called Blinkist. Okay. And there you get, umpteen number of books, and you can actually, these are audio books, and you get the summary of the books. Maybe they are, or the whole book is summarized like in only 20 minutes. So you can I listen like 2 to 3 books every day. In this year, I've done like, I think I've done like close to 600 books, audio books. So I love them. And I think if you are interested, look into an app called, I'll repeat it, Blinkist, Blinkist, Blinkist. It's in Play Store in Android. And you can just download that app, and you get a lot of book material, fantastic self-help books, technology books, philosophy, psychology, sociology. You choose a field and you have got audio books summarized for you. Each book is not more than 20 minutes. So you can learn in any field that you want. You can really learn from that, and you'll really enjoy it. If you love learning, there's enough content to learn there in a very systematic way.
This is Blinkist?
Yeah, Blinkist, Blinkist.
Oh, very nice. Thanks for that. And any other question, Kusha, that we have?
No, sir, that's it. Thank you, there, sir. Thank you, Anil, sir, once again for making this 1 hour worth listening. Thank you so much for sparing your time on a Sunday. We now move ahead. And
Thank
I
you.
would like
Thank you very much. Thanks for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mitr. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Now I would like to repeat the steps to avail the e-certificate. A, attend the complete webinar. B, when you see thank you on the screen, again, there will appear a link to a Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. C, fill the questionnaire you get on email for your details. D, follow our page. Please do follow our page and then only reply an affirmative. Otherwise, we won't be able to generate an e-certificate to you. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you. Get in touch with us at Mentor Mitra's website, www.mentormitra.com. Email us at contact@mentormitra.com. Thank you for attending. Now you all will see the link to attendance in the chat box. Thank you once again, Mentor Mitra's team and the speakers for such a wonderful webinar.